Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam. Prophet Zulkifli was a son of Prophet Ayyub. The real name of Prophet Zulkifli himself was Basyar. He lived in the land of Sham, which was led by a king who was old and had no children. The beginning of calling Zulkifli when one day the king was looking for a replacement. He then promised to hand over power to anyone who wants to be responsible and carry out the mandate of the people and those who have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then a young man named Basyar stood up while lifting his right hand and saying that he could. The king repeatedly asked him, but no one answered except the young man. After that, Basyar was elected to replace the king's chair and his name was changed to Zulkifli, which means a person who is able to keep promises. This is as stated in the following Al-Quran. And, remember the story of Ismail, Idris, and Zulkifli. All of them are patient people. We have included them in our grace. Indeed, they are among the righteous. Quran Surah Al-Anbiya verses 85 to 86. This new leader is a very good figure. He prioritizes the affairs of his people rather than personal and family matters. He also kept his promise to always fast during the day and worship at night, and be patient under no circumstances should he get angry. The story of Prophet Zulkifli begins when the king of the Sham kingdom has no children, and one day he feels old and he tries to find a replacement to lead the Sham kingdom. He promised to hand over power to anyone who is able to carry out the mandate of the people and people who have been fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There stood a young man named Bashar, Prophet Zulkifli, who said, "I can, my master." At that time, no one answered, except for Basyar, Prophet Zulkifli. So in the end he was appointed king to replace the old king to lead the land of Sham. Since then, Bashar changed his name to Zulkifli, which means one who keeps promises. Prophet Zulkifli later became a king who was never negligent in carrying out his duties. He met all the needs of his people fairly and without any problems. One time, there was a rebellion from people who were disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam asked his soldiers and people to come to the battlefield. However, not a single citizen dared. They were afraid of death, so they asked Nabi Zulkifli to pray to Allah to guarantee their lives. Prophet Zulkifli didn't think much and immediately prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he immediately answered his prayer. Victory was achieved without anyone being killed in battle with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet Zulkifli's patience was tested by his people. After becoming king, the story of Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam did not escape various trials, including those that came from his own people. There are many people coming to the kingdom who have the intention to destroy the leadership of the Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam. At that time, Prophet Zulkifli ordered his people to join the fight against the rebel forces that came to the kingdom. However, those he treated well rejected him for fear of death. They want to go to war, but there is a condition, namely the guarantee that they will not die on the battlefield. As a result, the Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that his people would be saved when the war took place. This prayer was then directly granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that all the troops of Prophet Zulkifli consisting of ordinary people could succeed in winning the war and returning to the kingdom in safe conditions without anyone being killed. It was only at the end of the leadership of Prophet Zulkifli that his people felt a peaceful and prosperous life. Relics of Prophet Zulkifli can still be seen in the small town of Kurf, south of Baghdad. There is a tomb between the cities of Shira and Nazab on both sides of the Euphrates. The tomb is believed by local residents to be the tomb of Prophet Zulkifli. Prophet Zulkifli tempted by the devil. The story of Nabi Zulkifli continues when the devil tries to lure Nabi Zulkifli into being negligent and failing to fulfill his duties as king. One time, the devil came to meet Prophet Zulkifli. The devil has such cunning tricks. He became an old man and knocked on Nabi Zulkifli's door, shaking his patience. Prophet Zulkifli, with compassion, begged the devil in disguise to come to his kingdom the next day. But what he was waiting for never came, even though Prophet Zulkifli took time to help the devil in disguise. The devil deliberately did not keep his promise to test the patience of Prophet Zulkifli Alaihissalam. Unable to hold back sleepiness, Nabi Zulkifli chose to rest.